All board members, but Ms. Gilkey and Mr. White present, please. And if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, our favorite part coming up next is the board salute, so we'll turn it over to Erin.
On Friday, July 24th, Greater Clark County Schools was fortunate to host an Indiana Department of Education Regional E-Learning Conference for the third consecutive year. The Clark County Connected Conference included educators from across southern Indiana and focused on how to engage students in technology-rich work. Educators learned best practices when using digital tools for teaching and learning. The conference included 15 keynote and guest speakers, but also included 49 Greater Clark staff members as breakout session presenters. Thank you to these employees for being technology leaders in our district. Please come forward when your name is read. Kelly Allen, Lori Blades, Susan Botts, Natalie Bronson, Megan Cortez, J.T. Cox, Sarah Crawford, Donna Daly, Elizabeth Day, Daniel Dietrich, Ashley Emily, Josh Emily, Joshua Faith, Jan Finch, Lori Gavin, Scott Hatton, Catherine Halter, Kayla Heights, Stephanie, I hope I say this right, Hillis, man. April Holder, Katie Hutchinson, Don Jenkins, James Kimball, Roxanne Koopman, Jessica Langdon, Eric Lannon, Janelle Lewis, Alicia McAfee, Alma McCutcheon, Tressa Magenti, Jessica Moman, Portia Mullen, Kyle Parr, Cheryl Regan, Scott Rolfs, Amy Short, Marcy Skelton, don't make me laugh. Now I lost where I was. Christina Sonner, Jamie Spear, Sergio Spencer, Melissa Stewart, Brian Stewart, Tracy Tabor, Emily Tipton, Adam Tolliver, Beth Valentine, and Donna Van Hook. The board also salutes, and she has to come up here, Executive Director of Instructional Improvement, Amy Schellenberg, and Director of Technology, Brett Clark, for their hard work in planning the e-learning conference. Also, thank you to our technology department, e-learning coaches and staff members, Jessica Brody, Katie Hutchinson, Melissa Stewart, Jason Davis, Jorge Garcia, Keith Morris, Justin Murray, David Nelson, Scott Stewart, Mark Voynier, Zach Voynier, Libby McCrite, Brenda Cheshire, and Suzanne Whitaker for their help in making this event a success. Thank you all. Go ahead.
Picture. While he's taking the picture, I'm very, very proud of these individuals as well as those that weren't able to be here tonight. I had them all stand at our opening day. And what was really great about it is we had a gymnasium at Charleston High School full, and you had just a few years ago, almost all of our speakers at the e-learning conference came from somewhere else. And to think about where we are just a few years later in terms of technology integration and developing our own experts. And here's a great pool right in front of us. Very, very proud of you. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your leadership. It means a lot. Thank you.
No wonder he looks so good with that kind of a crowd, I think. Yeah. He's got a lot of...
They don't have to stay. Oh, they don't have to stay.
It's over. And you are welcome to stay with us. Normally, we excuse those who come for the recognition portion of it, but you're certainly welcome to stay for the meeting. So, Ms. Perkins, did you have any comments for the those?
Well, I was just saying, no wonder Brett looks so good when he has a crew like that working with him. I mean, how can you not look good? I thought it was always him, but it's not, obviously. He's not even listening to me. Look at him.
He's in here, where'd you say?
Yeah.
I was. A Twitter question.
Never mind.
Okay.
I was glad
Thank
that
you,
I
Brent.
got to go to the conference for the introduction, didn't stay for the whole day, but I was pleased with the turnout, and the speaker was wonderful, and thanks to all your service.
Ms. Kraft.
Yes. Yes, well, it is amazing that we didn't have to have a lot of outside help. It just shows how good we are. We just have to keep telling people how good we are.
No, thank you.
All right. And great job. Again, we hosted it for several years now, and I think that's a tribute to the folks that we have here. And Brett, just a great job. So thanks for all you do. So, all right, we'll move on to the next item, the approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes tonight?
I would like to pull the personnel certified from the consent agenda.
Okay, personnel certified. Any other changes? All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. All right, all in favor? Be 5-0. Thank you. Next is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. I'd like to take all those together, executive, regular, and special.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Questions, comments? All in favor? Be 5-0. Thank you. Dr. Mellon, any public comments on agenda items tonight?
No, sir, not tonight.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we'll move on with the consent agenda. We have 5 items on tonight. We're going to take personnel classified and personnel certified. We'll take classified as part of the consent, and then certified out separate. So we'll go ahead and go with the consent agenda for all but certified. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you, thank you. Any questions, comments on that? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0. Next, we'll take a vote on the certified agenda for tonight, certified personnel.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Second?
Thank you, Ms. Kraft. Questions, comments about?
Yeah, I feel like I've never been a strong component of retire, rehire, and I feel like in this corporation, it's weighed heavy on the administrative end. I feel like if retire, rehire is a good practice, we need to open it up to our teachers and get to the bargaining table. Look at that. Let's rehire these people that's great in the classroom. Let's get them back in the building and get them working with our kids. And it just seems like some of these deals are done before a job is posted, before interviews, and I'm not in favor of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hall. Any further comments on that? All right, all in favor? Be 4 and opposed? Be 1. Thank you. Moving into action items. First one is the resolution authorizing superintendent to negotiate property. I'm sorry, gifts to buildings. Ms. Kraft.
I thought I was going to not say
I
anything.
skipped right over it. Sorry.
Well, yes, we have over $12,000 donated by people who have worked very hard. A lot of them are business groups and so forth, and then we have PTOs, which always come through with a lot of money. So we just appreciate what everybody does for us. We could not be as successful as we are without it, and I would make a motion that we accept that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kraft.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zolman. All in favor? Be 5-0. Thank you. All right, now we'll go back to action items. Resolution authorizing superintendent to negotiate property. Ms. Lewis.
Thank you and good evening. Greater Clark is always on the lookout for the possibility of purchasing property for future school needs and expansions. And we have a resolution presented to you this evening that would allow the superintendent to engage in negotiations with various property owners for the possible acquisition of their property or their land areas. And what we would do, the superintendent would begin a negotiation process with these persons. And before he could even do that, the properties would have to be appraised, because school corporations can't offer to purchase more than the average of 2 appraisals. So, I mean, we do have a top limit that we can't exceed, but in a negotiation process, there's always a possibility that you can purchase land for less than the appraised values. And the superintendent, the law allows discussions about purchasing a property to occur in an executive session in a confidential manner. And so the superintendent would begin the process of negotiations with property owners for possibly purchasing the land. And then if they are interested, we could develop purchase offers that would be contingent upon or subject to the Board of School Trustees approvals. So they would know going in, if they were interested in selling and we could negotiate a reasonable price for the property, they would know that it would always be subject to the board's approval and your pleasure. So this resolution gives the superintendent that authority, and at this point in time, we are recommending your approval.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
So, second.
Okay, Ms. Perkins first, and Mr. Hall, the second on it. Any questions, comments for Ms. Lewis? Okay, I have one. Do we share the, when we do the appraisals, do we share that with the folks? So that's all just...
No, sir, we maintain that.
Okay, all right, very good. I didn't know if it's public record or, okay, very good. All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the contracts for real property appraisals.
Again, along those same lines of looking for property, as I said, first, the state law requires that we have the properties appraised. They have to be appraised by 2 independent appraisers who have certain qualifications in accordance with state law, and then they provide that appraisal information to the school corporation, and we use that as our maximum that could ever be offered to them, to property owners, for the purchase of their properties. We have used Charlie Mills and Greg McCartan in the past to do some appraisals. We have found them to be professional and timely in getting their information back to us. This evening, we are asking, and the superintendent is recommending, that you approve the contracts that are attached for several property appraisals that we'd like to see performed, and they're all on single-family residences, and so it would be a maximum of $450 per appraisal. So we are recommending your approval at this time.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zolman. Any questions, comments for Ms. Lewis?
Ms. Lewis, these are properties between the high school property now and Monroe Street, right? So,
Right. Ones that we are looking at this time are in the Charlestown area, and they would be up around Charlestown High School, Pleasant Ridge area. Correct. We're not at liberty at this time to identify the specific property owners, but they are in that general vicinity.
Further questions? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Rachel's Challenge, and Dr. Griffin. Welcome. I don't know that we've
Thank
had you address us before, so this is an
my
honor.
first time here, so thank you.
Don't mess up.
And good evening. No pressure, no pressure. Ms. Wesley, a principal at Charlestown Middle, is asking for your support to renew the Rachel's Challenge initiative that they began 3 years ago. It was very highly supported by Charlestown Middle School students and staff, and they're committed to having Rachel's Challenge visit every 3 years. So that will help renew their commitment to the Kindness Initiative. She is asking that you support and approve the contract. They're covering the contract through an activity, their student activity fund, but she's currently working on some reimbursement gifts that we'll share with you at a future meeting if she's able to get those. So,
Okay. Very good, thank you.
thank you.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions, comments for Dr. Griffin?
So when I look at the contract, we pay a deposit, and we have the money in the student account to cover that deposit.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and
We
then
have
she's
that
going to
currently.
look for
Yes, in the
sponsors to help with the balance, but do we have the money to cover the balance if we don't get it?
She has informed me that we have the money to cover the entire contract.
Okay.
But she wants to offset some of that with some
Yeah,
community
We
donations.
want to offset all of it.
Totally.
All right, further questions? All in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Griffin. Next is a credit card for Parkview Middle School. Dr. Dykle?
Yes, Parkview Middle School has requested permission to open a credit card account at Sam's Club. They had one existing, but it was just closed because the bookkeeper left. She's now in my office. So that's why she doesn't want them to use the credit card in her social security number and all that information. So anyway, every time somebody wants to open up a credit card, I'll bring it to you for approval. I just want to make sure the board's aware of credit cards that are coming out. They're mainly going to use it for concession items and rewards for students. The card will remain with the school treasurer, and these are all things that the State Board of Accounts requires. It stays with the treasurer, signed in and out when used on a log, including what items are to be purchased, where the purchase will be charged to in the ECA account. Payment will only be made with proper documentation, such as original receipts. Any interest or penalty incurred due to late filing or furnishing of documentation by an employee should be the responsibility of that employee, and that's what the State Board of Accounts suggests. So the superintendent recommends the approval of Parkview Middle School to open a Sam's credit card account.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Dykle.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zolman. Any questions, comments for Dr. Dykle?
So the credit card will actually say Parkview Middle? It won't say this person's name?
Correct. And the last one said Parkview Middle School too,
Okay.
but it was, you have to give a social security number and all
Okay.
that stuff.
But it's still tax exempt,
Correct.
everything? Okay.
All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next is the Pest Control contract renewal.
Oh, I love this one. Greater Clark entered into a contract with Mr. Pest Control to provide pest control services at all locations in 2006. 9 years later, we're still at the same dollar amount, $580 a month. Mr. Pest Control has continued to provide service with no price increase since that time. They have stated that they will continue the price of $580 per month through July of 2016. By that time next year, we will quote it out and we'll get a new price, and hopefully we can go for another 9 years with somebody at no price increase. I love these.
Sounds logical, so. All right.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions, comments for Dr. Dykle on the pest control contract?
Did we tell them how much we really do appreciate that? I mean, really.
Yes, we do. I mean,
And we do tell them
anytime,
that.
anytime we have a problem, they're very receptive. They come out immediately, you know,
Right.
whatever kind of infestation we may have. Like in our office, when we have the stink bugs and everything, they're out here that evening, you know, spraying them down and everything. So
But we have said to them, we really appreciate that.
Mike Mara has told them that,
Okay.
yes, because he handles the account with
Okay.
them. I'll make sure he tells them.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next is the 2015-16 Cassie Community Partnership. I think Ms. Schnepp,
Thank you.
good evening.
This is an agreement that we have had in previous years, and it just allows for us to place students in Head Start and let them train for jobs within Head Start. We provide supervision through our choice program, but then Head Start also supervises and trains the students.
Okay. We've done this before, right?
We have. We didn't have an agreement last year, but we've had it in previous years.
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Hall,
Second?
and thank you, Ms. Kraft. Any questions, comments? All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the consulting services, Jody Wortham, 2015-16. Dr. Hartledge?
Good
Good evening.
evening. This is a renewal with our agreement with Ms. Wortham. Ms. Wortham was one of our school psychologists and the coordinator of High Ability, our highly abled program prior to her retirement in 2011. And she continues to help support us in our testing needs that we have for highly abled students and also academic counseling for them to support their programming as well as parent education and any group testing that we have to do. Compensation for her services will be paid at the rate of $45 per hour for no more than 440 hours during the period of July 1st through June 30th. And this will be funded through our state high ability grant.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins, and I think that was Ms. Kraft. Okay. Any questions, comments for Dr. Hartledge?
This is a wonderful person for that amount of money. She's very talented, and I know she's doing some great things with our kids.
She does. She does an outstanding job, and she is willing to go above and beyond
She
and
certainly does.
anything that we need with that program.
Use your mic.
Use my mic?
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks,
okay.
now.
All right, further questions?
I would have to echo that. She's worked with High Ability for a long time. I know my children had the privilege of having her as a teacher, and she's wonderful. Just tell her we think she's wonderful.
She's one of the best.
Yes.
All right, all in favor? Be 5-0, thank you. Next item is the television studio production systems for Charlestown, Jeffersonville High Schools.
Yes, thank you,
And
Mr.
Dr.
Mayor.
Hare.
Board. Before we bring forward the recommendation, maybe we take a quick virtual tour here real quick. If you'll join me. The very first slide. Renee? No, teasing. That's Charlestown High School. This is inside what will be the radio studio. As you're facing it to the left, those windows, that faces out to the gymnasium. So that was an actual like equipment room inside of the gymnasium up on the upstairs. So that's the inside of what will be the radio studio. Go ahead, Renee. This is interesting. This is the outside. This is in the spine at Charlestown High School, where the TV studio will be. And that has probably been the most challenging wall to take down, because once upon a time it was an exterior wall. So there were about 5 or 6 different layers of wall that they actually had to get through there. The window seal of that wall, wait until you see it. It is quite a window seal. So that has been challenging, but that's what we will see from the main spine across from the gymnasium at Charlestown High School, and that's where the TV studio will be. This is inside of that room. Those are starting to put up the frame. There will be smaller little studios where these kids can do like little commercials or their projects. So there will be 3 little small rooms inside that TV studio, so you can see the framework starting to take shape there. This is the tower at Charlestown High School. This is on the Witten property. Yeah, it's for Charlestown High School on the Witten property. That was late last week. They have the crane that will be coming later this week, first part of next week, and we'll go ahead and erect that. All of the material is on site, but the climbers, if anybody's interested, we'll get you up there.
No, thank you.
It's a
No,
joke.
thank you.
This is Jeffersonville High School, inside the gymnasium, obviously, and the first thing that you'll want to notice there are no bleachers. The bleachers have been removed, and the section that you're facing underneath the Jeffersonville Red Devil sign is where the radio station will go. And I want you to notice what it looks like in this picture. Go ahead, Renee, show them the next picture. There's what it looks like now. So they've constructed that wall. That is a block wall underneath there. There's some space there. The floor will come out. And then they'll actually, is it okay if I come up here, Mr. Page?
Oh, sure.
They're going to cantilever out of this wall. There's some space right here, and they'll come out of this wall that will connect this. And that's where there'll be a little walkway that will make that the track where you can walk in front. So they've got some work to do there. But that's the major wall, and all that block has been put in and installed. So that was a major production that they finished last week. This is This is inside of the radio station. This would be like if you were facing the gym. You'll see in the lower left-hand corner that red rail. So that's your point of reference. That's the rail, and that's what the inside looks like. You'll notice it's got metal studs in the drywall. That's on the other side of that is the auditorium. So that is about 5 feet out farther than what that actual wall will be, so that gives them room to work. So that's a temporary wall. We kind of call it a mall wall, kind of like as you're walking through the mall and you see coming in July, that type of stuff. So we've got that up, and that's inside.
Okay.
That was a good example. That's a good analogy. Where you guys? My gosh. This will be the TV studio at Jeffersonville High School. This is actually an art classroom that we're converting into the TV studio. Those were, you'll see on the right-hand side, those thin windows. We actually took the windows out, made a large opening there, and that will open into the commons area right across from the College and Career Center, if you're familiar where we meet before graduation. So that's where that is. This is inside of that classroom, and very similar to what will be at Charlestown High School. They will actually frame 3 smaller TV studios in there as well. And that's the tower at Jeffersonville High School, and that has been obviously put up. All the material is on site. We've had a small snag. We've got a little bit of delay there that we've got to deal with. But we really don't anticipate any problems. We've just got some paperwork that we need to take care of with that. So having said that, that was a quick tour of both sites, but we've been talking about it for a long time, and it's starting to take shape, and wanted to share that with the board, and certainly we'll do this periodically and let you see it as it moves forward. Is that good? Anything else you guys want to see ever, let me know. If you want a tour, we'll meet up there either place and do that. At New Washington, we're waiting for approval from the state. We still have not received the permit to start at New Washington. I'm not really sure why. We're working with Covert Hawkins to make sure they're pushing them along each week, but we're kind of at their mercy right now, but we're ready to go as soon as they give us the green light in New Washington. So we will start on that. So wanted to give you a quick tour there, and then with that, we'll go ahead and bring forward the recommendation. The superintendent is recommending the approval of the proposal from Enterprise Technical Solutions, LLC, for the television studio production systems at Charlestown and Jeffersonville High School. And you'll see the cost at Charlestown High School is $103,042.99, and at Jeffersonville High School it's $117,996.96. This is all the technical aspect. This is all the technical switches, the wiring, and this was part of the budget with the supplies when we presented that way back when. So very specific thing. The gentleman that owns this company has been up there a lot working with us. He's at all of our construction meetings. Dave Dreyer's his name. He's done a lot of the different radio TV studios in the area, really knows his stuff, and he's been good to work with. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. Hare. All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Questions, comments for Dr. Hare?
Have our teachers, our radio and TV teachers been involved in this process?
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, Mr. Dench has been at both, and really all 3 from the onset. And we actually have changed our Charlestown High School construction times to accommodate their instructor and Mr. Dench. So their instructor is a little bit behind the 8 ball, but we'll get him caught up pretty quickly. So he will be there starting Thursday.
Are the students really seeming enthused about this?
They really are, and the enrollment picked up. It was a little slow at the end of the year last year. Now that they're starting to see it, I think we're starting to get a little bit of traction. And once it's finished, I think it'll be right where we want it to be. And it really is exciting, and the equipment that we're putting in there is going to be second to none. These really will be state-of-the-art.
Is there a deadline on when this is supposed to all?
Well, you asked me, and I don't have it in front of me. It's the end of September. We moved it back about 8 days at Jeff High with the construction meeting Monday. I think it's like September the 28th, and it's about that same time for Charlestown. So everything is on track. Again, the only small delay we've hit is the tower at Jeffersonville High School, and we've got to do a little bit of paperwork there.
Have we talked with any of the cellular people to see if they wanted to pay us to put on our tower?
I'm turning to Dr. Dykle because he's the one that's been handling that before I started.
Okay. I'll bet. Money, yeah. Like
Yeah,
that.
we're certainly having
Like
those
that green-
conversations as
Okay.
well as a couple other things.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
Is that it?
yeah.
Just so you don't call it the Trump town. Okay.
We're really not.
Okay.
That's one.
Or the no-hair tower.
You should stop looking back at him.
Every once in a while I need his
Because,
help, but he's
yeah,
like
you're-
an anchor more
yeah,
than-
you're looking for answers, and sometimes
You'd think I'd
he goes
learn.
places you really would prefer not to go.
That's why we moved right on through the bug contract,
Yeah,
because,
that's
you know, that could have went
Understand.
south real quick, right?
Oh, shoot.
All right. Any further questions for Dr. Hare?
I can see enthusiasm in him, though. You seem really
It's
into this.
exciting. It really is. It's going to be a good opportunity for our kids and for the community, and it's going to be a real showpiece when we're finished, so.
We also, we're looking at the possibility of increasing power at both of the stations. Mr. Dench has been looking at that. There's no promise or guarantee, but it's potentially could go from 100 to, I think, 250 watts at each station, depending upon the frequencies and minimizing conflict between the signals and so on. So he's already looking at ways to try to grow that frequency, and that obviously is great to be able to expand it out, especially up in the Charlestown area to reach up into that, all of New Washington and north. So we'll keep you informed on that.
All right, all in favor? B50, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hare. All right, reports request, any board reports request tonight? No? All right, Dr. Millen, public comments on non-agenda items?
No, sir.
None, thank you. So we're down to board comments, so Ms. Perkins?
I've had a few comments about the opening of school, and they've all been very, very positive. I know it can be a very nerve-wracking time for teachers and parents and kids and everybody, but all of it has been very, very positive. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Zolman?
I enjoyed the opening day at Charlestown High School. I love that gym. I'm a sunken gym fan for sure. Loved that day. Speaker was great. I think we're off to a good start.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Kraft?
I don't know, I don't really want to say anything really negative right now, because it is a positive time of year, but this number just keeps sticking out at me, and I keep thinking, we worry about having enough funding for public education, and we just aren't getting it. And yet, we need to remember, in 2010, just as an example, we spent, in this state, $570 million to incarcerate people. $570 million. If we had that money to educate people, we could do wonderful things.
Good point.
That's it.
Mr. Hall?
No, thank you.
All right. I don't have anything. Dr. Millen?
Just again to reiterate, my appreciation to all of our staff for all the work, the preparation, getting schools ready. I agree that every place I went, they said it was the smoothest start of the school year they've experienced, and so that's tremendous to hear. The e-learning conference, which we've already recognized, the home visits that we did. I know we'll get a report to you here in the future, but such a positive start, and from parents and from our staff that were involved. And so a lot of work to do, obviously, but very proud of our staff for their efforts. Good start of the year.
I love that one slide we saw with on the front door. They were waiting for the teachers to come, and on the front door it just said, "Welcome, teachers."
Yeah.
That was great.
That's special.
Wasn't as good as the dog, though.
No, the dog that jumped in the car and wouldn't get out. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. All right, we're to adjournment, so do I have a motion?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kraft.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zolman. All right. All in favor? B50. Good evening.
7:35.